All right.
Okay. Well, here it is.
Yep, we're back.
I mean, technically we're here for the first time, because the last one we recorded was a test episode.
Oh, true. Okay, well, so welcome. Welcome for the first time, and then welcome back to our test subjects.
Yes.
I suppose.
We're here. It's the Mystic Frightcast.
Yep.
Episode 1.
Yep. Yeah.
We made it past the testing round.
Yes.
We are now here.
In the flesh.
In the ears.
In the sound waves.
We're like a virus infecting your brain, but it's a computer virus. All right. Well, how are you?
That's it.
How are you today? We should probably introduce ourselves first.
Oh, yes. Hello, I'm McKenna.
I am Zane. This is our podcast.
It's called Mystic Frightcast.
Where we talk about horror movies, books, shows, games.
All of the above.
Comic books, trivia.
Ooh, trivia?
Trivia. Yeah.
We should have a trivia section.
We should have a trivia night.
Oh, I love it. I feel like I would either be really good at trivia because I feel like I hold unnecessary information in my brain, or I'd be absolutely awful because I have the worst memory.
I feel like you just freak out. I don't know if you could handle the pressure.
No, you definitely couldn't.
All right. How are you today?
Really fucking cold. We don't have heat right now.
That's true.
Because our house has oil.
Yeah, so we're waiting for our oil tank to get refilled.
Yep. And so we're not going to have heat for like 2 days. And it's February in Seattle. Mm-hmm. So that's not great.
But at least we have power.
At least we have power.
And we have each other and alcohol to keep us warm.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm not happy.
You know, I wasn't happy earlier, but I'm okay now.
I am sitting here with a lap blanket and a shoulder blanket, 2 long sleeve shirts on, sweatpants, and socks. So that's how I'm doing. Also, I ordered these shoes from work. And
you're going to talk about this on air?
Yes, because it's really important to me. I ordered these shoes from work it was almost 2 weeks ago now. And I could have just called the store and been send me them, but I was like, no, I'll do it the right way and I'll order them first. So first they were stuck in cyberspace, aka Pennsylvania, for a week. And then they show up today. It's the wrong pair of shoes.
Uh-oh.
And that ruined my day.
It ruined your day?
It did.
I hope Slender Man made it better.
Oh, it did.
What a great... Anyway, we shouldn't talk about that yet. Because we'll get into it.
We'll get into it. How are you today?
You know, I'm all right.
Yeah?
I'm okay.
What did you do? You rearranged our entire house?
Yeah, that was pretty much what I did today. I had the day off, so I just reorganized everything.
Yep.
Including moving a lot of heavy furniture. And now I'm really sore and tired.
I feel like every few weeks I come home and things are rearranged.
I mean, they get better. They're all improvements. So I like to think of it as just evolution.
Sure.
You know, the house is just
evolving.
It's evolving. It's
into
reaching
its truest, best form via you.
Yeah. Well, no one else is going to do it. So.
Ouch. Oh! I mean, okay, well, I guess this doesn't really matter because this is our first episode and we don't really have an episode before this, but our test episode, we talked about The Haunting.
We did.
The OG movie.
Yeah.
And related it to The Haunting of Hill House because, well, it's the same story.
Yeah.
And literally as soon as we stopped recording, we looked on Facebook and was like, oh, it got renewed for a second season.
Yeah, so...
And it turned into your worst nightmare. It's anthology.
Yeah, they're doing it from other source material. It essentially has nothing to do with the first season, but it's not just them fucking around. They're adapting a Henry James novella.
Yeah.
Another classic author writing a horror story. So it's kind of the best case scenario for doing an anthology show.
Okay.
Where I'm not.
So you're not mad about it?
I'm not. No, I'm very excited. I bought the novella yesterday.
Yes, you did.
So I can read it and be all prepared. And I have to watch the other 2 movie versions of it.
Oh, there are other movie versions?
Is.
Okay.
It's considered as much of a classic horror movie as The Haunting is.
Oh, okay.
So I kind of wonder if he did it on purpose
Yeah.
Like, picked the kind of prestige
Sure.
book and movie
Combo.
to, like, do the same thing with, which I would be very interested in seeing.
Yeah.
But the novella is called The Turn of the Screw. It is about a nanny in a English, like, country home who starts to believe that the house is haunted.
Do we know when it's supposed to be released?
Next year, 2020.
Cool.
Yeah. I don't know when Mike Flanagan sleeps, because he did Gerald's Game and The Haunting of Hill House in the same year. And then
really?
This year, or maybe 2020 as well, Doctor Sleep is coming out, which is the sequel to The Shining, which he's directing.
Yeah.
And in the same year as that, The Haunting of Bly Manor is coming out, which is presumably another, like, 10-episode show. So I don't know where he has the time.
Well, and his shows are produced like they're actual films. Like, it's not
Yeah,
just like a...
and he does literally everything.
Yeah.
He created, wrote, directed, and edited the show. So
Yeah.
every stage of production, he was the only one doing
I know,
anything.
that's insane. He's a nutcase.
He's a nut. I mean, he's definitely a genius.
He's
I would
your
say.
kind of nut.
He is my kind of nut. I would
That's
think
something you would do.
it's something that I have done.
You did.
Yeah. Actually just got done doing. But that was a 15-minute short film that took me a year to craft in that way.
Yeah.
And he's producing 2 movies
And a 10
and
episode.
2 shows
Yeah.
in that. It's like, what?
I know.
I feel bad for his wife.
I know.
She must never see him.
Yeah. I was like, stop editing and come sit on the couch with me. And you would edit, I don't know, a couple hours a day. Not every day.
Well, when you were around, I'd do a couple hours, but if I was just home by myself, that would be my
Your
my
whole
day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we
So
derailed a
season 2,
little bit, but I wanted to mention that.
Yeah, for sure. The Oscars happened. I wanted to bring them up because I got really riled up about it.
Oh, I did too. I was really mad.
You were asleep, but I got home and just ranted to your dad for like an hour about
See,
how mad I was.
I tried to rant to my dad, but he didn't listen. But yeah, I'm mad.
Green Book won.
If you didn't know.
Spoiler alert for life.
Yeah, loved Spike Lee's protest.
Yeah.
It was partially
good.
because he was upset he didn't win, but also because he was just pissed that he lost to Green Book.
Yeah.
Of all things.
It does. I mean, that's what I was talking to your dad about that, where it's like, I think in a different year, it wouldn't piss me off as much, but it's because there were so many other movies that dealt with race and gender and like minority dynamics and culture so much better.
Yeah.
And also,
There were things that were nominated and things that weren't, that were like worlds better.
Yeah. And also it's directed by Peter fucking Farrelly, who directed Dumb and Dumber. What a sack of shit. It makes my blood boil. He is an Oscar winner.
Yeah.
Now, the man who directed Dumb and Dumber. Vanity Fair or Hollywood Reporter, one of those prestige magazines.
Sure.
They do yearly, like, hour-long interviews with the, like, mega, not like financially successful, but the really, like, important, quote-unquote, filmmakers.
Uh-huh.
They do actors, actresses, writers, directors, and producers. And it was I think it was the producers one that I watched, and Peter Farrelly was there, and he was amongst all these, like, legends and just really, really intelligent people. And Peter Farrelly is such a moron. I can't, like...
I think I saw the actors one.
God. It makes me so mad. Because all these, it was like Kevin Feige and like the person who produced The Favorite and like all of Yorgos Lanthimos'
My favorite
movies.
film of the year.
And the woman who produced, just like, I was really, really blown away by what she like produced. And they're all talking about like technical stuff and like what it's like to work with directors and all this really interesting stuff. And then Peter Farrelly is always chipping in and he's like, well, I thought, it's most important that everyone just gets along on the set and blah, 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 blah. Hate him.
He sounds like when in high school when they do like the student directed films.
Yeah.
That's what he sounds like.
He is like the real life version of every character that Henry Winkler's ever played. I hate him. And I don't want him around anymore. Get him out of here.
Yeah.
Anyway, I had to get that off my chest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No horror movies were nominated or mentioned this year.
Toni Collette was definitely snubbed for Hereditary.
Yeah. Suspiria was amazing, but
that wasn't
not
going to get nominated.
surprised.
Yeah.
Yeah. I knew it wasn't going to get nominated, but yeah, Hereditary was really good.
Yeah, I'm not like surprised,
No.
but I'm a little like, it was so good. Her specifically
She was really
good.
Fun fact.
Yeah.
Did you know the older brother in that film? The actor, he is the younger brother from the Naked Brothers band from Nickelodeon.
I don't know
I know you don't, but someone listening is gonna know. And let me tell you, he was the drummer. I had the biggest fucking crush on him when I was a child, and me and my friend created the Naked Sisters band because we wanted to be like them, and I was the drummer, even though I literally don't know how to play the drums.
He was also in that John Green movie.
Mm-hmm. And he's directing a movie himself this year.
Oh, I don't think he has it in him.
We'll see.
We'll see. Do you know what it's about?
No. I tried to look it up, but it was like really vague. It was just like a boy in this town.
Boy in town. What a unique take.
Yeah.
Fresh take.
I tried to like look it up and see if I knew anyone else that was involved, but I didn't know anyone. It's gonna be like a indie thing. His name is Alex.
Isn't it Nat Wolf?
Well, is it Nat or is it Alex? I can't remember which one.
It's Nat. It's Nat Wolf. I was right.
Nat? Okay.
Yeah.
Alex is the older brother then.
He's not directing a movie.
Yeah, he is.
Nope.
I found it on his IMDb.
This guy?
No, Alex Wolf. Look at Alex.
What if Alex Wolf has nothing to do with Hereditary, though? Oh, wait, no. They just look exactly the same.
They're brothers.
Oh, so Nat Wolf, I think, was the one in Paper Town.
Yes. Yeah, no, the Alex Wolf, I was right.
You were. Weird. Well, that threw me for a loop.
Yeah, there wasn't anything else that was...
Roma should have won Best Picture.
I knew it wasn't going to, though.
I thought it would.
Well, it was nominated for Best Foreign Language Film as well, which it won. So I was like, oh, they're not going to give it Best Picture because it's also nominated for Best Foreign Film.
Yeah.
So I didn't think there was any way.
It was just so good.
It was good. But I agree that it should have.
Yeah.
But it didn't. And I wasn't surprised by that. Do you have anything else that you would like to mention or talk about before we get started?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
No. I'll save it till the end. It was just our social media and website stuff.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we can talk about that.
Let's talk about that at the end. Okay.
Oh. All right, so we just watched a movie.
We did just watch a movie.
As of maybe 15 minutes ago.
Mm-hmm. Per usual.
Yes, we come fresh.
Yeah, I think it was especially important to come fresh from this because I think that if we watched it tomorrow, I literally would not remember anything that happened in it.
Yeah, so we watched Slender Man, circa 2018.
Yeah.
Really, I just wanted to watch this so I have an excuse to talk about Slender Man.
Okay.
Because it's a really interesting topic.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Because I had to sit through this too. I had to watch Mission Impossible Fallout before this just so I could not want to shoot myself.
Yeah, it wasn't great.
It was so bad. Okay, here's what I'll say. It wasn't
It wasn't as awful as I expected, I will say. It made it seem like it was a trashy movie, and it wasn't trashy.
Well, I don't know. It wasn't comically bad very often.
No.
That being said, would have much rather seen a comically bad movie because, holy God, this movie is so boring.
It was really boring.
Oh my God.
Yeah. I just ended up reading articles about Slender Man while watching the movie.
You made me watch this movie, and I stayed more dedicated to watching it than you did. You just stopped. You just tuned out after a little bit.
Well, I was doing a research.
Research?
Yeah, no, it wasn't great.
It's so bad.
I don't even know where to start to unpack it.
Well, I took notes. Throughout the movie. I don't know how much sense they'll make now, because I was just reacting to things in the moment, so I didn't write down any context or anything like that.
First, I'm going to give you the history of Slender Man.
Okay.
So, Slender Man is a creepypasta. Do you know what a creepypasta is?
I do know what a creepypasta is.
Okay, for people who don't know what creepypasta is, it's like a fable that's been fabricated online.
Yeah.
Basically.
It's a meme.
Yeah, it's a meme. Eric Knudsen also known as Victor Surge, that's like his online name, is the creator of Slender Man. People who don't know, Slender Man was created on a forum called Something Awful, and it's actually a comedy forum. It's not like a horror forum. It's a comedy forum.
That makes this movie make so much more sense.
And Kate's gonna be jingling in the background. The website is just like blog entries and forums and articles and digitally edited pictures. Victor Surge, as he's known on the webs, entered a contest for a horror digitally edited picture, and that's when Slender Man was created. He took old pictures, like old black and white pictures of children, and then basically just edited Slender Man into the background.
Yeah.
And so if you ever see those, like, there's a really famous picture of, like, a little girl in a dress, like, in a field running around, and then Slender Man in the background. That's one of the original, like, edited pictures. He is often described as a tall and unnaturally thin man with tentacle arms and a featureless white face.
I gotta say, in the movie at least,
Yeah.
not very thin. Not a very slender man. Pretty average.
He
average
was
build.
He was average.
Yeah.
He was not unnaturally thin.
He was not. No. He was just like a you know, like a pretty fit dude.
He was like lanky, but he wasn't unnaturally thin.
He was tall. I don't even know if I describe him as lanky. If I saw him walking down the street, I'd just be like, there goes a dude, you know? Aside from the
tentacles.
Face. Well, yeah, and the face. But he also just looked like he was wearing a sock over his head.
It did. It was like knitted.
It was oddly textured. I'm not sure why they felt the need to texture it at all.
Very strange. I think it would have been a lot creepier if it was just like it looked like a white sheet over a face.
Yeah.
You know?
You know what would have been better? Is if they'd made this an animated
movie.
They
didn't make this movie at all.
Well, yeah. But if they'd made it an animated movie and made it like a fairy tale...
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
That would have been much more interesting than just a really generic horror movie.
Yeah.
That had a dude with a sock on his head.
Yeah. Anyway, there have been... So some people actually do describe a face. Even though he's kind of known as having like a white featureless face. And... Yeah, sockhead. But it's different to each person.
Do you have any of the descriptions of the faces?
Nope. They didn't give me any.
So... I could be Slender Man.
Yep, exactly.
I'm tall. I'm relatively fit. Maybe not as much now as I once was.
But yeah, so it didn't give me any examples of the face. But apparently sometimes he does have a face, but it's different to each person.
So how'd you even know it's Slender Man?
Because he's tall and has tentacles.
I mean, fair. What if it was just Doc Ock?
Doc Ock. Good point. Does Doc Ock wear a black suit and tie?
Well, he's a scientist, so like presumably he could be wearing a black suit and tie.
That's a fair point.
You know,
I would
maybe it's going to an event like a gala.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I would much rather come across Doc Ock
than Slender Man.
Yes.
I don't know. You know, I'd probably have the same response to either one. Like, what? Why? Why are you doing this, man? Chill out, bro.
There is a response to seeing Slender Man called Slender Sickness.
Uh-oh.
And which includes paranoia.
Are you down with the sickness?
No. What?
The song.
What is that from?
Down with the sickness.
I don't know what that is.
Oh. Okay.
It includes paranoia, nightmares, delusions, and nosebleeds.
So, like, he just turns people into coke addicts?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, so if you're delusional and having a lot of nosebleeds...
You're either at a high altitude...
doing a lot of coke.
Or you've seen Slender Man.
Yep.
Okay.
One of those three.
Good to know.
Yep. There's a woman who, like, kind of researched this in the terms of it being, like, a mythology. And thought it was very interesting to see how it grew from online, and you can see, like, the very beginning of it. And it gave them a really interesting look into how stories have been told in mythologies, have been told in the past, because you can track this from, like, the literal beginning.
Right, because it was a contest. He just made it up for a contest.
Exactly. I know.
People used to tell, like, stories.
I know.
You know?
Yeah.
Anyway.
Oftentimes, The lines between legend and reality often get blurred with Slender Man because of the nature of its creation, because it was literally just created for a contest. And most people know it from like the video game and stuff like that that was created, so they don't realize where it stemmed from. So oftentimes people think it's actually a real mythology and not just this guy that made it up in his basement.
Yeah. There's another... So, when you were researching this, did you come across the Marble Hornet stuff at all? There was I can't remember if it was the same guy or not. It might have been. But there was a YouTube web series that ran for a really long time and got very famous called Marble Hornets, which was basically like the Blair Witch, but Slender Man.
Oh, okay.
It's really good.
Interesting.
It's really creepy.
Yeah, I didn't see that.
Yeah, I haven't heard anyone talk about it in like years, and I was like, I remember when this was like a huge
I don't
deal.
even remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really just like focused on the very beginnings of the creation of it.
Slender Man Origin.
Slender Man Origin.
Coming fall 2020.
Okay, you want to hear the inspirations for Slender
Yes.
Man? Zach Parsons' That Insidious Beast.
The what?
The Insidious Beast.
I don't know what that is.
I don't know either, but it was on the list.
Okay.
Stephen King's The Mist.
Okay.
Not sure how, but it was on the list.
I mean, I guess there's like mist sometimes, you know, just in life.
Yeah, I don't know. Mothman.
Oh, I can see that. I can definitely see
Yeah,
that.
which we totally have to do an episode on
Yeah,
Mothman.
you need to
'cause
watch
that's
the movie.
So freaking weird.
And I need to shatter your illusions about the Mothman, too. Because from the way you're talking, you might think that it's real. But
I don't think it's real,
It's not.
but it's pretty fucking creepy.
It was actually the government. Like, I sound like a crazy conspiracy
It
nut.
always is the government.
No, but they were actually, like, putting shit in the water in that town.
Oh,
It was
shit.
one of those, like, they tested LSD on civilians. It was a situation like that.
Oh my god, I'm so excited.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
anyway.
then everyone was like, "There's a Mothman!"
Oh my god,
And then
that's
people didn't
so
know that it was
fucking
the
crazy.
government just, like
Fucking with them?
making people high. And they were
Oh
like,
my
"Oh,
god.
it must be real."
That makes it so much better. Okay.
Yeah, anyway.
So Mothman, the tall man from Phantasm.
Phantasm?
I think it's a movie.
Yeah.
1979.
Continue. I'll be back.
And the video games of Silent Hill and Resident Evil.
Yeah, for sure.
Along with your everyday Shadow Man.
Shadow Man?
Yep, you're just average, everyday shadow people that show up in your bedrooms at night.
That was in the movie.
It was,
She
actually.
Googled shadow people.
She did Google shadow people. Which, honestly, that to me is the best. Like, I see that the most.
Like in your real life.
Yep.
Shadow
I
people?
see shadow people all the time. No, like, in inspiration-wise. Because he always pops out from, like, the shadows.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, though?
Yeah.
So, I saw that a lot. In 2012, the first video game, Slender the 8 Pages, was released.
I can't believe we didn't play that in preparation.
I know we should have.
Fuck.
Within a month of it becoming available, there were over 2 million downloads. In 2013, they released a sequel called Slender the Arrival.
Not as good as the original.
I haven't played either of them.
They're fun.
And then in 2016, there's a documentary called Beware the Slender Man on HBO. And now the Slender Man movie 2018. Of course, we're all aware of the Slender Man stabbing.
Yeah, the actual really terrible, horrible thing that happened. Yeah.
I didn't know how to transition into that.
Yeah. There's no good way.
There's no good way.
From talking about a fun internet meme into talking about children killing each other.
Yeah, I remember this happening. Because it happened in 2014.
The year I was born.
Yeah. I was in high school, and you were a baby.
Don't question our relationship.
I remember we talked about it in my English class.
Huh.
I don't know why, but like my teacher, who was also just fucking crazy and the worst teacher, I hated her. She'd literally just leave in the middle of class and not come back until the end of class, and we had no idea where she went.
I feel like that could make one a good teacher.
Oh my god, you know what? She had a lot of nosebleeds.
Slender sickness.
Maybe that's why she showed us that.
Well, are you sure your school wasn't just at a high altitude? Like on a mountain?
You mean Bothell High School in Bothell, Washington?
You never know.
I don't know why, but she showed us the article.
Maybe she was a coke addict.
Maybe.
Leaving the room for a long time, going to the powder room. You know what I mean?
Powder.
I have to powder my nose.
But yeah, so I distinctly remember this happening. Just a quick, brief. I'm just gonna blaze through this because I
was laughing. I was pulling when those news anchors start laughing when they're telling really tragic stories. It was a situation like that because I just couldn't get the thought of Kate licking the butter out of my head. But anyway,
okay, so
I'll be quiet.
Anissa and Morgan, they were both 12 years old. All three of them are 12 years old at this time. Anissa and Morgan were friends, best friends. And Peyton is, unfortunately, the girl who got stabbed. Spoiler alert.
Nice.
So they invited Peyton over for a sleepover on May 2nd, 2014. And they didn't necessarily do anything out of the ordinary during the sleepover. It was just kind of your average sleepover. They went to a roller rink, and then...
Sleepovers did you go to?
Well, they went to a roller rink, and then they went back, and they had mattresses on the floor, and they all fell asleep. Whatever. What Peyton didn't realize, because Peyton was also kind of an outsider, and so they she was an easy target.
So they took advantage of her, basically.
Yeah, basically.
That's super fucked up.
Yeah.
That's so sad.
Yeah. So Anissa and Morgan were obsessed with Slender Man. One of the two was particularly more obsessed than the other. And they believed that by murdering someone, they would prove to Slender Man that they were worthy, and they would become his servants and join him in his mansion in the Nicollet National Forest in Wisconsin. How their sleepover the next morning, they ground up some granola, put it in silly putty, and stuck it to the ceiling. I'm not joking. This is in all of the articles.
Okay.
They were worried about how they were going to get it down. They don't really elaborate from there, but this is something. It's just fucked up. Why?
Why waste the granola? I'll edit that out.
Yeah. So they did that, and then they had a breakfast of strawberries and other things I don't remember.
Granola.
No, the granola comes back later.
Oh, really?
Yes. They asked if they could go play outside, so they walked to a nearby park where they were going to play hide and seek in the woods, which resulted in Peyton being stabbed 19 times by Anissa and Morgan. Really creepily. Okay, I need to read you this quote because it's just so fucked. Okay, here's the thing. Morgan and Anissa were obsessed with cats. I guess Anissa had kind of chickened out a little bit. She's I can't do it. But Morgan's we have to. Morgan said to Anissa, I'm not going to until you tell me to. And then she said, Kitty, now, go ballistic, go crazy.
Oh my god.
And Morgan goes up to Peyton and says, don't be afraid, I'm only a little kitty cat. And then stabbed her 19 times. I'm not laughing because it's funny, I'm laughing because I'm uncomfortable.
Oh my god.
They stabbed her 19 times in her arms, legs, but also puncturing her stomach, her liver, and her pancreas, and barely missing her major artery near her heart. And when Morgan was recalling it, she said, stabby, stab, stab, stab. It didn't feel like anything. It was like air. 12 years old.
I wonder why they left that out of the movie.
Yeah, I wonder.
Jesus Christ.
Thankfully, thank to all the gods, Peyton survived. Barely. So this is another really weird, creepy thing. So Morgan and Anissa, tried to bandage some of her wounds with leaves and then told her to be quiet and left her. Like, they did, like, it wasn't like they fled.
Yeah.
Like, they tried to, like, bandage her and then quote unquote, because it was with leaves.
Yeah.
But it's like almost like there was a little bit of remorse, but not really. They cleaned themselves up in the bathroom of the park and went to Walgreens. But Peyton was able to drag herself to a nearby road, and a cyclist found her, and she was taken to the hospital and survived.
Just really quick, can you imagine being 12 years old and having to drag yourself to the side of a road?
No.
That's awful. That's so...
Yeah.
Just...
Well, after people who you thought were your friends tried to kill you.
At 12?
Yep, at 12 years old.
Yeah.
So then, Peyton, before she, like, went under for surgery, was able to tell the paramedics and the police what happened.
Yeah.
And so Anissa and Morgan were captured within, like, 2 hours.
Do you know if they're still in jail?
Actually, just as of this month, they were officially sentenced. Like, 20 years to life. One of them in prison and one of them in a mental institution. They're 15 now. They were caught walking near Walmart, and in their backpack were some pictures of their family, a couple of kitchen knives in which they used to stab her, and some granola bars for the road. And the reasoning was they thought that they would be spending the rest of their lives with Slender Man, and they wanted to be prepared. So they brought granola bars for the road and pictures of their family so they wouldn't forget them. They legitimately thought they were gonna go.
Because they were 12.
Yeah.
Their fucking brains don't work.
But here's the thing. While they were being interrogated, they both admitted that they knew Slender Man was not real.
Do you think that they, like, actually knew that, or were they just saying that because, like, they knew that people wouldn't?
Well, they're 12 years old, so, like, in the article that I was reading from New York Magazine, there's a psychologist that was saying, like, when you're 12, like, your brain is able to determine right from wrong.
Right.
And what's real and what's not. So they knew that Slender Man wasn't real.
But then why pack up the backpacks?
I don't know. They were delusional. But yeah, so that's the history of Slender Man and the attack that is supposedly this movie is related to or influenced by.
I mean, it's not.
It's
really.
not, though.
Like, I don't think they even, like, attempted. I don't think it was based on that at all. I think they just based it off of the, like, the creepypasta stuff.
Yeah.
Because there's nothing in it that's remotely related to the actual
No, there
story.
isn't. There's a lot of backlash, obviously.
Yeah.
From the families, particularly when the trailer came out, because it was featuring young teenage girls.
Yeah.
Everyone just kind of assumed, like, oh, they're making a movie about this, and they're not taking it seriously, and it's like, like, it happened not that long ago.
Yeah.
Like,
well, I mean, it's gross because it's definitely trying to capitalize off of this while it's, like, hot.
Yeah,
You
absolutely.
know? Like, they wouldn't make this 5 years from now.
Yeah. No,
they definitely made it now because that happened. So that's in the collective, like,
exactly.
Consciousness.
And I'm not defending the movie.
Yeah. No.
But the movie really does not have anything to do with the attack.
No.
The only thing that is similar is that they are teenage girls. But no one kills anyone, or kidnaps anyone.
Yeah.
It's all the creepypasta stuff.
Barely.
Yes.
Yeah.
So,
alright, should we, like, shake off a little bit and transfer into the movie?
Yeah, that was rough.
Yeah, I just feel like I should say, like, neither of us are doing this to, like, make you laugh or anything like that.
No.
This is, like, I just want to fully acknowledge just how the horror and, like, absolute just sadness and tragedy of the actual events.
Yeah.
Because that's, like, it's not only incredibly awful and traumatic for Peyton and her family,
Yeah.
but also for the people who perpetrated the crime,
Yeah.
and the families of them, because that's really, really sad.
They now have... Yeah, they were 12 years old and they now have to live the rest of their lives knowing that this happened.
And the fucked up thing is that, so presumably they had some sort of trial recently, and that's why they got sentenced recently. Yeah. So the sad thing is that means that they're still, like, crazy, basically.
Yeah.
And don't show signs of repenting or improving or...
Well, Morgan did recently, quote, saying that she is sorry to Peyton and realizes... I mean, these girls have been in, like, mental hospitals since it happened. And Morgan did say, like, she realizes what she did and she is sorry to Peyton and her family. But, I mean... but if people actually thought that they were... rehabilitated, they wouldn't be getting 20 years to life in prison. Exactly. So it's they still tried to murder someone. So.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Yeah.
So transition
on a lighter note. Yeah. This really stupid movie,
really bland, boring movie.
Yeah.
That's mostly. I feel like it's mostly just so bad. Because it's about Slender Man. Like, you shouldn't make a movie about Slender Man now.
No.
Right?
No.
It'd be like making a movie about Ted Bundy. Oh, wait. Slender Man.
Slender Man. Yeah. Well, I think our first warning should have been that Joey King was in it.
Yeah, apparently Joey King is, like, famous for being in bad movies.
To me, at least. Like, I just feel like every time I see Joey King's name associated with it, I just automatically am like, oh, it's not good. Think of one movie with Joey King that's, like, palatable.
The Conjuring.
She's in that?
Yeah. She's one of the daughters in The Conjuring.
Yeah, but she's like a child. She's not, like, a star in it.
No, but that's like the only thing that I know her from.
Yeah, I know. I'm talking about her as, like, a lead.
Yeah.
There's this. There's The Kissing Booth. There's...
I don't even... People keep talking about The Kissing Booth.
It's so... I haven't even watched it, but I just know it's bad.
She was in the 2017 classic Wish Upon.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
I mean, if we wanted to watch a bad horror movie, it should have been Wish Upon. Because at least that's just hilarious.
Yeah.
Do you want to do a brief recap of the plot?
Sure.
For Slender Man 2018?
Sure. Me or you?
You.
Oh, great.
You deserve this.
There are 4 friends, and one of them, I don't know any of their names.
Mm-hmm. Ren.
Ren is Joey King.
Katie
is the girl who goes missing.
No, isn't Katie the main character?
Katie's the one that goes missing.
No,
the redhead. Yeah.
Oh, Hallie is like the main character. It's so okay. I just have to point out that just from a purely like when you're making a movie and you're only casting one person who's like kind of known.
Yeah.
They have to be the main character.
Yeah.
You can't cast unknowns and then just have, like, Joey King, who's, like, a recognizable face and name.
Yeah.
And make her, like...
a side character.
Because it's just really confusing. Because your mind is like, I'm supposed to be paying attention to her. Yeah. Because she's the person that I know.
Yeah.
Anyway. Chloe, Hallie,
Chloe is the
Ren, and Katie.
You did it.
For somebody who really didn't like retain much of this movie, I did retain their names.
Yes. So there's the 4 of them.
Yeah.
And really we just get right into it. So Katie's really fucking weird. Mm. She talks about having no soul, and she's super subtle.
Yeah, it was bad right from the get-go.
So bad from the first interaction.
She may as well have been like, I am the devil.
I know.
I'm going to be the first one to die.
Yeah, it was bad.
Yeah.
So they really just get straight into it.
They were just like hanging out at a sports field somewhere.
I know.
Like taking selfies.
And she was like, and the friend coughed, and she was like, "Did you know that in was it Native American?"
No, it was like pilgrims.
Oh yes, pilgrims thought that when you were coughing, you were expelling the demons. And she was like, and the girl started laughing. She's like, that's why I don't cough.
You sneeze. When you
sneeze.
That's why I
I'm
never sneeze.
so sorry for that confusion. Yeah, and she was like, so seriously dead, like, that's why I don't sneeze.
Because I want to hold on to my...
She's like, because I want them all in my soul.
Yeah.
If I have one.
It was definitely one of those scripts that was like, and to be fair, there's some of my favorite screenplays are the ones that are like supposed to be specifically about teenage girls, but they're so clearly written by like 50-year-old men who like don't understand A, how like women interact with each other, and B, how like young people interact with each other. Because there's a lot more of that in the movie.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
It doesn't stop.
It escalates.
It starts strong. It gets
stronger by the end. Yeah.
It gains power as it goes. That happens, and we instantly know she's gone.
Yeah.
So they go to her basement where her drunk dad is upstairs.
Yeah, I guess I wasn't paying enough attention to realize that her dad was like
a drunk
until they were like, he's a drunk. They just like said that in the movie.
Yeah, and they are obsessed with this counterpart group of men.
Oh yeah.
And they're like, what are they... Yeah, and they're like, what are they doing?
That didn't go anywhere.
It didn't go
Tom
anywhere.
didn't go anywhere.
Tom didn't go anywhere.
That's bad writing. Neither did the chat room woman.
Nope.
I told you. You were like, oh, they told us who she is, but they like technically did. But did she have any relevance to the plot?
No.
No.
So, yes. So there's a counterpart group of 3 guys. Mm-hmm. They're supposedly summoning Slender Man. And they're like, OMG, we have to do it too.
Oh, is that what?
Yes.
The instigating?
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
Was not paying attention. Did not pick up on that at all.
And so they summoned Slender Man. They watched a video.
So did the guys summon Slender Man too?
No, they chickened out.
Did they? Was this in
you
the
weren't
movie?
paying. Yes, it was.
Oh, okay.
You weren't paying attention, apparently.
Huh.
And that's why they summoned Slender Man.
Mm-hmm. They slendered
Summer Man.
Summer Man.
That's what I need right now. I need
Summer Man.
Yeah. Bring me heat. Heat miser.
What?
Heat miser.
Is that a reference to something?
Yes.
Or did you just make that?
No, to Santa Claus is coming to town. Heat miser.
What? Like the song?
No, like the cartoon.
I didn't even know there was a cartoon. We're doing a podcast about Slender Man. You're not looking at Santa Claus is coming to town. Anyway.
I digress.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so that's how they summon Slender Man.
Okay.
And shit just basically goes bananas from there.
Yeah.
So
There's not
Katie,
really a plot.
No, there's not a plot.
Yeah.
It literally, like, they just go crazy and go missing. That's it.
And one of them turns into a tree.
Yep.
Big mood. Turn into a tree.
Katie goes missing.
Yeah.
And then they're like, it's because of Slender Man. But they're also like, no, it's not.
No, it's not.
And then they're like, yes, it is. And then they're like, no, it's not.
My favorite.
And then Joey King has a panic attack in a library.
There were so many scenes that... See, okay, there was nothing in this movie that was remotely scary at all.
No.
Because it was just, like, stuff happening for literally no reason.
Yeah.
And they didn't really explain... They didn't set up, like, They didn't set up the symptoms of slender sickness, let me tell you that, until much later. But it was like, there were no clearly defined rules, which are kind of like what makes or breaks a horror movie.
Yeah.
Like, you have to set up, either it has to just be like, you have no idea what's going on, which is like Hereditary.
Yeah.
They just throw you in, and you're like, I have no idea what's going to happen next.
Yeah.
Or it has to be like Saw, where they set up from the beginning, like, this is what is happening, and this is what these people have to do. And this was neither. This was just like, oh, we're being relatable teens talking about internet.
Well, yeah.
And then, like, some scary stuff happens, but there's no rhyme or reason to it. Like, I don't know why they started, like, having weird hallucinations.
Because of the slender sickness,
video?
duh.
It was because of the video.
Yeah.
It's not The Ring. It's not The Ring. Don't worry. It's not The Ring. We're not The Ring. But...
We're
totally different. It's a different video. If you watch the video closely, there's no crossover between the video in The Ring and the video in Slender.
I know, I thought that.
I wrote down
yes,
all of the movies that this ripped off. Because it occurred to me halfway through that I was like, this is like literally...
so many movies.
So many things that are actually good
Yeah.
that it just like blatantly ripped off.
Yeah.
Sinister?
Yep.
Big vibes from
Big
Sinister.
vibes.
Stand By Me. There's that one scene when they're all going into the woods and it's the four friends and I was like, this reminds me of like a really shitty attempt at being like a Stand By Me coming of age type movie. It. Big vibes.
Haven't seen it, but I can...
But you know like what it
know
is.
what it
yeah.
is.
And that's, I think, them too. I'd never got the impression that they'd seen any of these movies, just that they knew they existed.
Yeah.
And we're like, what can we rip off for this one?
It's like if you gave me a list of horror movies that I haven't seen but know enough about.
Right.
And
they
they
knew the
write a
premise of them.
script.
Yeah.
I'd be like, that's what I would come up with.
There was a scene that reminded me of Prometheus. When she was looking in the mirror, and I stopped paying attention, but it seemed like they were setting up that there was something in her eye.
But then there was... she was pregnant.
Is that what it was?
Well, it was like a pregnant belly, and then something coming out of it.
Oh, yeah. It looked so bad, too. All the effects in this movie,
Not great.
just shit.
Not great.
So fucking bad.
Yeah.
And then, obviously, The Ring and Evil Dead, because the tree, that's, like, literally... out of Evil Dead.
I like that at the bottom of your notes you just have in all capitals bad.
Well, it's actually bad lighting because, and I wrote
you
that
couldn't see their faces
I wrote
for
that
like 90% of the
multiple
film.
times because it wasn't even like. So yes, I do not like underlit movies, and that's kind of like a style. It's like a valid trend. Because Solo was also like that. It was just really fucking dark. And I just don't like that as an aesthetic. But it was like technical incompetence. Because they would like walk from place to place in the same room and the color tone would be different. Like the palette would be different. And I was like, what? Have you never watched or thought about how to light a movie ever? It was specifically in that Tom's house when they would walk from the living room into the kitchen, and it was like tungsten yellow, like really rich yellow, and then just harsh white. And I was like, what? What's going on?
I noticed it a lot when... Oh, yeah, because there's also... I don't know what it reminds me of, but the video on the cell phone of them going through the house towards their doors or whatever.
Yeah.
That reminded me of something.
It's from something. I know.
It's from something.
Well, because you just know there's not an original idea in this movie, so someone had to see it somewhere.
Exactly.
For it to make its way into this film.
Yeah. The first girl, Chloe, that happens to. Also the token black girl.
She didn't die first.
She didn't die first. She died second.
We're not racist. She didn't die first.
She died second.
Yeah.
Her, like, hallway was so orange, and then her room was, like, blue.
Yeah. It was really, it was so bad. It was like someone had their revelation that they were like, oh, like, colors mean something in movies. And then colors mean something. And then they were just like, we should just make things different colors.
Yeah.
It was like a high school film geek. It was kind of like just realizing that like movies are planned and it's not just like you stick a camera somewhere and then people do stuff. He was like, oh, there's like you could like say something with this. It was so stupid. It was like there was no intentionality behind anything that happened like visually.
Yeah.
Which is like the biggest, that's what movies are. It's like I don't want to like get too, you know, nerdy with the film stuff because it's mostly just supposed to be about horror shit. But like
But horror is film is so important with horror.
Everything in a movie is a choice. Like, everything that you hear and everything that you see is a choice. So, like, good movies put a lot of effort and thought into those things, because those are, you know, what make a movie. And bad movies don't. They're just like, there are some people over here, just film them. Just film them. And that's so clearly what these people were doing. Yeah. It was like, there was that fucking stupid shot where they were having a conversation and the camera panned over to their reflection having a conversation.
Oh my god, that was dumb.
It was so obvious that either the DP or the director on the day on the set was just like, oh, you can like see their silhouettes in the reflection. We should just film it.
It had no purpose.
It's like, you're not Drive, right? Like, there's no rhyme or reason to anything that's going on. There was no significance to showing them talking in silhouette versus actually showing them talk. It was just like, this looks fucking cool, bro. We should film it. It was so stupid. Oh, God. It's so bad. It was so incompetent. That's like my least favorite thing. I can handle a good, like, bad movie.
Yeah.
I enjoy a lot of good bad movies. Like, I watched the remake of The Haunting the other night. Great bad movie. It's so bad. But at least, like...
It's enjoyable.
It was, like, made by people who, like, took a film class once.
Yeah.
This was made by someone who, like, watched a movie one time. And was like, I can do that. God. Ugh. It's so bad.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's my feeling on the movie.
I know.
Yeah.
I mean, there's not much else to say.
No.
Yeah, although I will say, as I say that there's nothing else to say, and I continue talking.
Yeah, that's what we do.
As we do.
Yeah.
It felt almost Exorcist-y to me. Not necessarily The Exorcist, but just like an Exorcist movie generally. When there was like all those scenes of like the classic like cut and the faces going back and forth and contorting.
That was so
but that happened like 4 different times.
I know. It's such a bad...
It was a repetitive situation.
It's like the least... everything in this movie is just like, no one had a fucking original idea.
No.
And they're like, what... Because that honestly is my... There are good horror movies that I enjoy, but I still hate when they do that. When it's like, suddenly their face is creepy. Because that's not creepy, it's just so stupid and goofy looking.
Yeah.
It totally takes me out of the movie. There was the one scene in the library when it was like going crazy. Yeah. And then there was a scene in the house when it's going crazy and he's like spazzing out. Yeah. But it looks so bad.
It does.
It looks bad. So, and like spend $5 and don't do the effects yourself. Like fucking, oh my God.
Yeah. Well, and also when she was in the library, like having a mental breakdown, there was 2 shots back to back of like the row of books.
Yeah.
Elongating.
Yeah.
Like basically the same shot.
Yeah.
Back to back.
Yeah. Which like
but it wasn't like continuing the shot. It was like a remake of the shot.
Well, and like the thing is about that thing where it's like you have something in the foreground and it like elongates. That's like generally used to convey importance. Yeah. So like you'd focus on an object, and then the background would suddenly either zoom in or get farther away. Yeah. And that's a really like kind of classical filmmaking move to signify the importance of an object or a thing to someone. Yeah. So if you're just doing it as an effect, it's like the laziest thing you could do. Because literally all you have to do is move the camera forward and zoom out. Yeah. It's like, I figured that out when I was fucking 12. And you're trying to tell me that's an actual effect you're using in your movie? Yeah. What? What? I don't get it. Like, what were these people thinking? I understand having a small budget, which clearly this did. This probably had like, I would probably guess like $3 to $5 million was the budget of this movie, which is really small for a modern day horror movie. But like, and I know Paranormal Activity is a joke now, but at the time it was considered good. Yeah, and like you can understand why. Yeah, right. And that was made, I think, for like $10,000. Yeah. And then, like, Hereditary probably didn't have much more of a budget than this. And you think about the difference in quality between Hereditary and Slender Man.
Yeah. Well, and two, there was that really weird segment where Joey King was about to commit suicide. Yeah. Can we talk about that?
But then she got pulled out of the window anyway.
Yeah.
So you're like, oh, wait, okay.
Yeah, so she, like, was standing on the edge of her window outside her house. Then her friend just shows up at her house.
Because she's like, I haven't heard from her. No, because Joey King, like, Slender Man'd her sister.
Oh, yeah. I like that that's a...
Slender Man?
Yeah.
It is now.
Yeah, so she shows up basically to beat the shit out of her.
She's in a huff.
She's in a huff.
Yeah.
She shows up. She's standing on the window. She pulls her in, and then she yells at her for Slendermaning her sister.
Yeah. But then Joey King gets Slenderman.
Yeah.
Anyway. So it's like,
Hardcore.
what was the point of that scene?
Yeah. But here's the other thing.
Yeah.
Did she get taken through a different window? Because that window was open. And then...
Excellent observation.
Because the window was open in order for her to get pulled in. And, like, pretty much immediately after that, they stand up and Slender Man pulls his little tentacle arms, wraps around her, and then she, like...
pulls her out the window.
And it shatters.
Yeah.
And it's like... was that a different window? Or is that the same window?
That's really funny.
Magically closed.
Yeah.
Also, how did Slender Man get his arms in? Because the window was closed. I have so many questions.
I didn't think about that either. No, I think the window shattered when he stuck his arms in.
No.
It only shattered when he pulled her out.
Yeah, because it was like, man. It wasn't like
what's
sudden.
real, bro?
It wasn't
That's the scary thing. That's the scary thing.
What's real?
Oh, psychology. Oh.
But, like, no, because...
You're trying to explain something which the people who made it don't even care enough to try to explain.
I know. And it's driving me nuts.
Yeah. Can I go through my notes really quick?
Of course.
I haven't looked at these since I wrote them.
Great.
My first note, intentionally woke up Dad. Because they broke in. So they wanted to break into the first girl, Katie, who goes missing first. They wanted to break into her house to try to, like, get her stuff, I guess.
Yeah.
And
to, like, see if they can find some clues.
Right. So they make a point of saying, not even, like, they don't show it, they say it. They're like, her dad's just passed out
because he's a drunk.
Fucking alcoholic. And so the first thing they do when they get to her house is they look in the window and confirm he's asleep and then wake him up. Excuse me?
Well, because they also are like, oh, the back door is always open because in case Joey not Joey. In case I'm saying Joey.
Yeah.
In case Katie, like, gets home late. Like, the back door is always left open. And so, of course, Joey King goes and rings the doorbell.
Right, to wake him up.
And then the other two sneak in the back.
But the dad wasn't near the back door.
No.
It wasn't like they couldn't get by him.
No.
It doesn't make any sense. Next note, lighting sucks. There you go. We
covered it.
Yep. Second note, second laptop, ?
Yeah.
Because they were like,
oh, they must have taken her laptop.
And then they're like, oh, here's a laptop. Okay.
Well, so here's the thing.
Was that just her specific Slenderman laptop?
I guess so. So here's the thing. They walked into her room and look at her desk, and they're like, oh, the police must have taken her laptop.
Yeah.
And then...
they look in the closet.
Because she's like, oh, sometimes she'll hide things here. And then she pulls out a laptop.
Right.
And then she's like, what? and Chloe's like, we just gotta take it, and, like, shoves it in her shirt.
Yeah,
and leaves.
I know. It's like, what?
And then also they somehow know the password to everyone's laptop.
Yeah, that's true. Shadow was cool. I think that was the shot when they were looking at the computer and the shadow. They were just, like, talking about Slender Man.
And the shadow like, that was cool.
That was the one
shot
cool thing, because it was like a well composed shot too.
Yeah, because it was like in like the bottom left hand corner was them like looking at the computer having a conversation, and then like the rest was just like the room that they were in. And the shadow of Slender Man, like, creeped up the wall onto the ceiling.
Right, and there wasn't any, like, noise.
No, it was just...
Like, BUM! It was just like it was just a visual cue that was cool.
Yeah,
and it made sense for what was going on in the plot. It was like
he was like watching them talking about him. Like they were like almost like summoning him because they were
exactly. And like
him.
Visually, it conveyed the shadow of Slender Man looming over them.
Yeah,
right. That was an intentional choice. The one that existed in the movie. That was their one idea.
Paid off.
Yeah, shocker. It's almost like when you plan things, they're better than when you don't.
I know, it's so crazy how that works.
Instead of your hard drive, it's your brain. Possibly the worst line in any movie ever.
Did they actually say that?
Yes.
I was not. I blacked that out.
No, I wrote it down because I was like, holy shit.
I blacked that out.
It was when Joey King was explaining Slender Man, even though they've already explained Slender Man like 6 times up to this point. And she's like, it's like a virus. And her friends are like, what? What's a virus?
Also,
and she's like a computer virus.
You know what I just realized too? The first time that they watched the video,
yeah,
Katie, the one that goes missing first, and that's like super nutso.
Yeah,
she's like, this seems like some Russian virus shit.
So apparently they only know.
So basically, Slender Man is a Russian virus.
Yeah. They didn't know what a virus was.
No, it had to be explained.
It had to be explained in terms of a computer. But also explained by someone who didn't really understand, like, what computers are.
Yeah. Was
the other thing. It was someone who, like, knew what a computer was, but didn't know how people who know about computers think about computers.
Yeah.
Bad. Nice anamorphics. The lenses were nice. They were nice. Yeah. They had some good bokeh, some good lens flares. Mm-hmm. I was like, these are nice. They'd be good in a good movie. Animosity between Katie and Joey King. I guess not Katie, whatever the other one's name was. They were all like literally all look exactly the same.
Which one?
Hallie.
Oh.
When she's like, I'm surprised you didn't bring one of your trophies or medals.
Oh, I know.
And it was like, was this like a sword spot?
Apparently
for
they
you?
like. Well, because they also set up, like, one of the first scenes when they're walking down the hallway and they talk to the group of guys.
Yeah.
And they, like, plan this, like, sleepover that they're gonna have, or whatever. And they're like, oh, Joey doesn't have to come. I don't remember Joey's name. Ren. They're like, literally can't remember any of their names. Hallie was like, oh, like, let's not invite Ren, though. And she was right there. And they were like, funny.
I remember that. I don't know why why are they beefing? Why are they beefing, McKenna?
We don't know.
There's
an obvious beef.
There's an obvious beef, but it was introduced too late to make sense. And also, I have to point out that they introduced the fact that Ren had trophies before they introduced that they did track.
Yep.
Which was a baffling choice.
Yep.
So for the first... they didn't say
No,
anything...
they did.
Did they?
They did.
When?
At the dinner table. When Ren... Because it's Ren that has the trophies.
Right. Yeah, Ren.
Surprised
you didn't bring one of your trophies, bitch.
But Ren, at the dinner table, they were talking about... I hated this scene so much, so that's why it's stuck in my brain.
Yeah.
The little sister of Ren, who ends up getting Slender Man.
Yeah.
By Joey King.
Yeah.
They were like, her little sister mentioned something about, like, a friend of hers that's also the friend of her bigger sister that's on the track team with her. Because
I didn't register that at all.
They were like, oh, did you hear that blah, blah, blah got kicked off of the track team?
Yeah.
And her mom looks at Hallie and is like, why? And Hallie's like, because she's pregnant. And her mom's like, scoffs, and she's like, what is she gonna do? And Hallie's like, she's gonna drop out and keep the baby. And the mom, like, rolls her eyes. And I'm like, is this the 1970s? Like... What is happening here?
I kind of remember that. That it came up in my head later because I remembered them talking about someone being pregnant, and I was like, was it one of the characters? But it wasn't. It was just some random.
It was some random girl, and also that anecdote had nothing to do with the rest of the movie.
You could make a connection between that and when gets pregnant with the Slender baby.
Yeah, but it's not her.
Like, thematically, there's no connection because they never set that up as like a phobia of hers. No. If they'd set up kind of her being like chaste and her chaste as in like virginal, not being chaste, CHASTE. And they set up like a phobia of like sex or a phobia of like having a baby or something like that.
Yeah.
It would make sense. But it wasn't. There was no thematic connection between her having a Slender baby and them talking about a baby.
No.
Once. Early in the movie.
Yeah.
Great writing. It echoes. It's like poetry.
Which we all know you love so much.
Yeah, it's my favorite thing. Leather crunching in the woods instead of using this actual sound of woods, they had a really obvious Foley effect, which sounded like someone crushing leather.
I didn't.
And I was like, like, Daddy Slender? What's going on?
It's the name of the episode.
Daddy Slender. Slenderdaddy. Yeah, it was really weird. And it happened a couple times. I mean, the sound design in the movie was really bad in general, because in that shot that you talked about when, like, the books were elongating, they had a really bad sound effect to go along with it.
Yeah, it wasn't good.
And I was like, this is rough.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It kind of sounded like, you know, when you were a kid and you had, like, those, like, plastic accordions that would like pop. Yeah. That's what it sounded like. It was like
it didn't sound like books or wood or carpet, which were the only things there.
I think they literally just used a plastic accordion.
Yeah, like how they just like grabbed someone's leather jacket and like
crumpled it
for
they're
the
like,
woods.
oh, this sounds like wood.
Bioelectric being? Question mark? They
symbiotic.
They highlighted that.
They did. And symbiotic relationship,
which is
not related.
There's no relation. It's not even a parasitic relationship.
It's not.
Because Slender Man isn't like feeding off of their sickness.
No.
He's just there.
Inducing it.
Right. Bioelectric being. Like, we're all bioelectric beings. We're all biological.
Yeah.
We have, like, not electricity, but, like...
Electrical currents.
Electrical currents running through us. We're all... That's not, like... What?
No.
Anyway. Website video. Which they said multiple times instead of just, like, video. You watched the website video!
Oh, my God. I can't... Yeah. I'm not even gonna...
Yeah. Oh, she has the room of a 40-year-old man.
Yep.
But why were there, like, serene paintings on her walls? I don't know. What was going on? There was nothing that signified that she was, like, in high school.
No. It honestly, it kind of, like, felt... Because it had, like, the desktop computer.
Yeah.
And then it had, like a crazy stalker wall of Slender Man.
I was talking about the other one.
Oh.
The other one. Hallie had a really bland, boring room.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, this is It was just a bed. No 15-year-old girl has ever had a room that looked like this, ever.
No. It was literally just a bed.
Yeah.
That's all we saw.
It was the most obvious case where they just had a room and they were like, let's just film here.
Yeah.
And there was no actual, like, set decoration process.
No.
They were just like, just put some stuff. There's a dresser and there's a door.
Yeah.
There you go. And my last note is, where's the light in the forest coming from? Specifically in that second scene when they go into the forest and there's that really bright light
behind them.
And you see the Slenderman silhouette.
Yeah.
Was not there the first time they went into the forest. I know that because I wrote earlier, I literally can't see anything.
I know you couldn't see anything.
Why was there a light the second time? Could it be bad filmmaking?
No.
That's all I got. Those are my notes for Slender Man.
I think that sounds great.
Yeah.
So, 10 out of 10, recommend.
10 out of 10, would recommend.
Would watch again.
I don't know if I would watch this again, which is kind of sad because I spent $15 to buy it.
I know.
Because you can't rent it anywhere. I need to mention that really quick. Yeah. That's so just as weird. Funny as the actual movie.
So
is
weird.
You can't really buy it anywhere.
No.
Like, they're definitely not producing the disc anymore.
Yeah.
So you can, like, buy it on, like, Prime Video for $15. You can, like, find a disc on eBay. Or I found a copy at Target for $15.
Yeah.
But you can't, like...
It's not...
Last time I went on Amazon, you couldn't get it on Amazon.
Yeah.
So...
It's like nowhere.
It's because it's true, and they're trying to stop the spread of Slender Man.
Yeah,
you gotta destroy all the discs.
I know. That monologue at the end was the best part.
Oh yeah, did you like how it just ended?
Yeah,
kind of in what it ended at what seemed to be a comma in her monologue, not a period.
Yep. It took me like a solid 5 minutes to be like, oh, it's over.
Right, because there's just that shot of a totally normal high school hallway.
Yeah.
And then she's talking about how, like, Slender Man spreads like a virus.
Yep.
And then it just stops.
Yep.
And there's no foreshadowing visually that it'll happen again.
No.
There's no, like, Slender Man doesn't pop up at the end.
No.
None of the kids, they're just being kids. They're just hanging out and, like, chatting and shit. They're not doing anything.
No.
They're not they're not even on their phones where they could be watching the Slender Man video.
They're just walking through the hallway. They're just literally going to class.
Yeah, this was so bad. Motherfucker. I'm gonna make you watch like Ghost Ship or something next, just for payback. This movie felt so long. How long actually was this movie? How long do you think?
An hour and 50 minutes.
I think it was much shorter. I would guess this movie is like 80 minutes long.
Okay.
But it felt like 3 hours.
Yeah.
It's an hour and a half, so 90 minutes long. I was pretty close.
You were pretty close.
Yeah. Man. It has a 3.2 out of 10 on IMDb.
It also has 7% on Rotten Tomatoes. A whopping 7%. A generous 7%.
All of the trivia on IMDb is just about how mad everyone got that they made this movie. That's it.
Oh, yeah.
Slender Man box office. Oh, remember how I was like, this probably had a budget of $3 to $5 million? It was 10.
Are you joking?
$10 million. I'm not. It made $51 million worldwide. So, like, conceivably, they could make a second one. They won't.
They won't.
But they could. So that's cool.
I think it's so funny that you literally can't find this movie, like, anywhere.
Yeah.
It's like, one, they chose to make this movie regardless of all the shit that's happened.
Yeah.
And then two, it sucked. So they're, like, trying to hide it.
I think this was released by the same studio that released Wish Upon.
It was Paramount.
No, it was Sony and Screen Gem.
Oh, it was Sony. Yeah.
Yeah. Sony, you probably don't know this, but in the kind of like nerd and film community is infamous for just making like shit movies.
Yeah.
Because they made like the really, like the bad Spider-Man movies.
Yeah.
So that was Slender Man.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Ooh-wee.
Cool.
I
don't know how to transition out of that.
I have a lot of apparently had a lot of pent up rage at this movie.
I'm not surprised by that.
Yeah, I thought I was just bored, but it turns out I was mad. All right.
I was just confused.
It's confusing, but not for the right reasons.
Exactly. There are just a lot of missing pieces.
Yeah. So that was it.
Yeah.
The first episode of Mystic Frightcast.
Forgot the name of the podcast.
I have slender sickness. My brain is addled.
That's not if you're gonna blame slender sickness, you better do it right. It's not that is not actually a symptom.
My bad.
It's paranoia. Delusion.
Yeah.
And nosebleeds.
Yeah, I did have kind of a weird delusion recently. I thought I watched a movie, but I was like, no.
Really?
It wasn't a real movie. It was just a big poop that someone took on a screen.
Oh, you mean this one?
Yeah.
Oh. I thought you said you actually had a delusion, and I was going to be like, why didn't you tell me?
No, I did have a really weird dream the other night, but I also don't remember what that was. I just remember that I had a weird dream.
That's usually how it works.
Yeah. Anyway, that's what we got. I don't want to talk about this anymore.
Okay.
I'm done. Done with Slender Man.
All right.
I'm out.
Now, the best part about this is we never have to talk about it again.
Yeah, that's true. And yet I feel like I will. Is the thing. All right. So this was the official first episode, 101, episode 101.
Yes.
Slender Man. Slenderdaddy.
It was, yes, Slenderdaddy. Leather Slenderdaddy.
Take me, Slenderdaddy.
Oh. Yikes. Started off with interesting episode.
Yeah. So by the time this goes up, we're gonna have social media and whatnot.
Yeah. As of right now, we have
Facebook.
We have Facebook.
Yeah.
Mystic Frightcast.
Yeah. It's like I think there's an @ I don't know what that. The handle is @ Mystic Frightcast on Facebook.
Yep.
So there'll probably be a Twitter and an Instagram with that too.
Mm-hmm. Email
mysticfrightcast@gmail.com.
You can email us to tell us whatever the fuck you want. I don't know.
Communicate with us.
Yeah. Give us ideas for things that you want to hear. Tell us that we suck.
Yeah, sure.
Tell us that we're great and feed my ego.
Yeah, that one. Please more than the other one. Yeah, if you have ideas for future podcasts or you want to weigh in on the Slender Man hot topic.
Yeah, if you have any other interesting... I genuinely think Slender Man and the history of it is very fascinating, how it came about and how people legitimately think it's real.
People think astrology is real. I don't know why you're surprised about Slender Man.
I don't know. It's interesting. So if you have any other interesting stories about Slender Man, send them my way, and I would love to read them.
Yeah.
And...
keep on pooping.